everyone, it's a big one, lots to talk about today, so let's get right stuck in first with Bot Bits on the screen behind me. Can you see? Can you see? Yes, you'll see a bot bit. We're looking for the series, remember, based on the clue of the robot. Okay, the answer will be revealed later on in the show. Fantasy Fight. It's time. 13 Black and PP3D. Here we go. 2 discs versus the very destructive low ground disc that was PP3D. And here we go. Who is going to win? Okay, right. 13 Black tactic. Spin on its axis with the 2 discs. That PP3D approaches. Does a bit of damage to 13 Black. But what's this? PP3D's disc is throwing a bit of a wobble here. Okay, it's doing the more damage, but all of a sudden it's just flown away like it did in the show. It just lost control completely. Wobbles. 13 Black takes advantage. I'm making this up, of course, because based on what could potentially happen, it's a fantasy fight. 13 Black uses its disc, its weapons, its destructive capability of spinning and spinning and spinning. Pounds into PP3D. PP3D loses control, loses power, and the house robots pounce. 13 Black is the winner. Do you agree? Please let me know in the comments below, as 13 Black is our ultimate champion. Now, here we go. We're going to move on now to What If. I'm going to spend a bit of time on this, and bear with me because this is going to get messy. What if Series 3 was seeded correctly? What we're going to do now is we're going to spend a bit of time seeding and reorganising each heat if Series 3 had seeds, because for some unknown reason Series 3 they just didn't have the seeding system. It was the only series in the original run to not feature a system like this, which meant certain heats were very poorly drawn. I mean, like the Cassius one, Cassius, Pussycat, Plunderbird, all in the same heat. So we're going to base this on the seedings, so we're going to have 16 seeds for Series 3 based on Series 2 performance and past experience, each seed featured in each heat. And here we go. You can see behind me the seedings for Series 3 would have been as follows. Panic Attack 1, Cassius 2 as 2, Beast of Bodmin, Mortis, Behemoth, King Buxton, Mace, Facet, Plunderstorm, Hardvark, Napalm, Chaos 2, Big Cheese, Pussycat, Razor and Kilohertz. Okay, so we're going to start now as if it would happen on the actual show from Series 4 through to 7. The reigning champion would open the series. So we're going to swap Mace's heats with Panic Attacks. Just before we carry on, it's just worth pointing out that we're going to keep how they came in the series semi-finals, the same heats. So Heat 15 winner was first up against Heat 2 winner, wasn't it, in the actual show? So that would have been Firestorm Pitbull. So Heat 15, Heat 2. So we're going to keep the same order for the semi-finals based on the numbered heats that they won. Okay, all be revealed a little bit later on. So as we go, we've swapped Heat 1. So Panic Attack would progress, would win. We're not going to change anything there. Now Heat 2 we're going to swap because Beast of Bodmin seeded 3. So we're going to swap Heat 9 to Heat 2. So Beast of Bodmin's heat. Again, wouldn't swap any of the robots in this heat. We're just obviously Beast of Bodmin would be 3rd seed. And they progressed. So they progressed in the actual show. So fine. Heat 3. Nothing changed here. Razor. We'd seed him 15 based on past experience. But of course they lost. And we're going to send Blade through as if it happened in the show, which it did. Now, Heat 4, we're going to swap Flipper. So this is the big brother heat, but we're going to swap Flipper with Plunderstorm, seeded 9. So Plunderstorm will be the seed for Heat 4, because there wasn't a seed really, was there, for Heat 4? Anyway, so Plunderstorm, and again, based on Plunderstorm's performance, would lose against Ultor, because it never moved, did it? Ultimately, based on that setup for Heat 4, Big Brother would progress as usual. Now, Heat 5, Chaos 2's heat, seeded 12. Okay, we're just going to swap the Big Cheese, because Big Cheese I've seeded for Series 3. So Big Cheese will go out, and we're going to put in Evil Weevils from Evil Weevils heats, so to say. Flip Flop Fly will be against Shrapnel. Again, there'll be no change to who wins what. Chaos 2 would go through. Now we're going to swap Heat 15 to Heat 6. Okay, so Facet will of course be the seed, GBH from the last series, the team, they were seeded 8. Again, it would be the same outcome, Firestorm would progress. Now Heat 7, of course, had 2 seeds, Napalm and Hardvark. Again, I don't know why they did this. Hardvark and Napalm both semi-finalists. So we're going to move Hardvark, and from Flipper, from the 4th heat, we're going to move across to face Henry. Okay, with Napalm as the 11th seed. And again, it would be the same outcome. Stegosaurus would win. Heat 8, Hardvark's heat, okay, with Hypnodisc in. So, there we can see, so Hardvark would move to Heat 8. And we're going to move Alligator to a later heat. Of course, Hardvark has called proportion. Again, same outcome. Hypnodisc would win Heat 8. Heat 9, of course, has swapped from Heat 2. The Behemoth heat, they'd be seeded 5. Again, no change, so Pitbull would go through. Heat 10, no change at all. 101 would go through. Heat 11, of course, was swapped from Heat 1. So this was the original Panic Sack heat, which is now the Mace heat. Seeded 7 again, no change here. Mace will go through. Heat 12, this is the original Evil Weevil heat, but we've swapped Heat 12, so Wild Willy. Pussycat here now. Of course, Pussycat will now go into this heat as the seed. Yes, that's right, isn't it? I think Flip Flop Fly, of course, moved earlier on, so Flip Flop Fly would replace Pussycat here. Again, we would do as it would in the actual show. Pussycat will get through to the heat final and lose to Evil Weevil because of its disqualification. So Evil Weevil will progress. Heat 13, Rattus Rattus. We're going to move Rattus Rattus against Smiths. Big Cheese now is going to go here. Rattus Rattus will move to a later heat. Big Cheese would win this. Okay, this is the first bit of controversy, I think. Big Cheese would win their heat and we'll go through to the semis. Heat 14 would stay the same, Kilohertz being the seeded machine. Okay, but Thing 2 progressing. Heat 15, which of course was swapped from Heat 6, was the Gravedigger heats. Mortis was seeded 4. Again, wouldn't change. Gravedigger would go through based on what actually happened. And Heat 16 swapped from Heat 13. This is the Cassius 2, because Cassius runner-up, of course. And again, we, based on that, we're going to actually put... Where are we? We're going to actually put Cassius 2 as winners here of Group 16, because I think they would. They would progress here. There we go. So, long-winded. There are our semi-finalists, and as you can see, based on the semi-finalists, in the exact same spot as they would have played, semi-final 1 would consist of Gravedigger versus Beast of Bodmin, Mace versus Thing 2, Big Brother versus Panic Attack, Chaos 2 versus Cassius. Here we go. They're the winners from the first semi-finals. Then it will be Beast of Bodmin versus Mace, Panic Attack versus Chaos 2. Beast of Bodmin would win, and so would Chaos 2, so they were the first two going through. Then we go over to semi-final number 2. 101 versus Big Cheese, Firestorm Stegosaurus, Pitbull versus Blade, Evil Weevil versus Hypnodisc. Firestorm would win, Pitbull would win, Big Cheese and Hypnodisc, and there we can see progressing to the final would be Firestorm and Hypnodisc. So in the final, here we go, we'd have Beast of Bodmin versus Chaos 2. Chaos 2 would win. Firestorm versus Hypnodisc. Hypnodisc will win. So we come to the same outcome. After all that, Chaos 2 will be against Hypnodisc and Chaos 2 would win. Oh my goodness me, I hope you followed all that. Goodness gracious me. Let me know if you didn't as we move on to merchandise memories. And today we are going to review Stinger. Now, for some reason, Stinger was huge. The toy was massive compared to the other robots. If you put Stinger next to Sergeant Bash, massive. In the actual show, Stinger was tiny compared to Sergeant Bash. So, the scale, not great here. Now, yeah, so like I said, comparing, this is, again, one of the smallest robots, but it was massive. The toy was huge. There was also issues with the pullback mechanism because, as you can see here, this is the only time, because they had to think of another way to do this, because it could land either way up, so there was no proper right way for the mechanism. So there's a hole here, as you can see. So you put in this little device, which I've still got, and then the idea would be to get in, pull it out, and then it would spin. But it doesn't work. And it would launch off this pad here. Look, there we go. Clips on like that. Bang, bang, bang. Off it goes. You wind it up, and then off it goes. But it never worked. It did come, though, with the little, I don't know, little ramp that it could do maybe a pirouette and a what have you off that little bit at the end there where it just goes up and over. You don't really know where it's going to end up. And there is, of course, the board that it came with the back. This is the last toy you could get of this original run. It was powerful. We used it in our own, of course, with the spin. We managed to make it spin on its axis. We did some major damage when it was in our series against the robots, as it did in the early series, Series 4, 5 especially. But I think they just got the scale all wrong with Stinger. So there we go. A problem with each robot. We still loved, of course, all these robots, but they had their own little problem in this batch of toys that you could get at the time. Now, on to an announcement. Okay, everybody, we've got so much to get through here today, but we are announcing, we're happy to say that Megabots Series 3 is coming back very soon in the next couple of weeks, so keep an eye out on the channel. It's probably going to be the last series, our little trilogy of madness online, so Megabots will return. There we go. Yes, we can't wait to upload Series 3. Just quickly going on to Bot Bit on the background, you can see there was quite, I don't know, it was quite zoomed in, wasn't it? Bits of yellow and black. But if you said Series 5, Spawn Again versus Razor, you would be correct. And it's also worth noting and pointing out that it's 20 years to the date, well, exactly 20 years since the original run ended. Do you remember? Do you remember on Channel 5? Oh, goodness me, which brings us actually to your questions. Now, Rick has actually put, do you think Robot Wars would have survived if it hadn't moved to 5? Rick, no, I actually think the BBC had already given up by this point. I think Series 7 was a bonus series for us. I think 5 were great to pick it up. Yes, they killed it, but that is another story. Samuel Lima, what is your favourite battle from your own series? Good question. Oh, goodness me. Wheelie Big Cheese versus Tombstone was great. Our champion Chomp-A-Lot was great, where all the champions are in. There's a couple there for you, Samuel. Thank you. We've got time for another one from Metal Mayhem. How do you film Reactivated? Is it all in one take or cut film different days? Well, from this batch of episodes, it's all one take, but we have chopped and changed in the past. I've actually only got Tom here behind the camera, who is left, the last man standing. There's only 2 of us left now for the team, but there we can see. Thank you very much, Metal Mayhem, for your question there. Goodness me, who else have we got here? Now, yeah, and also I do apologise, but they've got adverts. You might have adverts coming on when the channel, the show's going up. We don't get any money for this. There's no monetization. We do it purely for the love, so apologies if you do get adverts when you're watching this. Out of my hand, like I said. Yes, I've got a few more questions here, but it is just worth me talking about Megabots again. Yes, so we are back. Of course, it was a product of lockdown, really, originally, to bring you extra content, but Twister 2 here, the reigning champion, will be back to defend its crown. It'll be similar to the last 2 series, group battles, etc. So we're looking forward to another 8 episodes in the next couple of weeks. Keep an eye out for the channel. The cease has just gone. We would like to thank you all so much for watching this batch of Reactivated. We'll be back next time for more. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.